been guided by spirit guides for the highest good, divine source, creator of all that is, God, whatever language resonates with you, to talk about spirituality today and how I came to my own understanding of my own gifts. And they just gave me the topic of spirituality. To me, spirituality is a very personal thing. It's, like a fingerprint. Everyone's is unique, but everyone has one. Everyone has a connection to the higher realms, whatever you believe in. We all have a soul. We all have a higher self. This is what makes us human. Apologies. So it's because of how I was raised, I even considered being atheist. I've always believed in a higher power, because I had several spiritual experiences as a young child, and just growing up too. But religion never resonated with me, simply because I would ask so many questions and I would get literally punished for questioning the Bible and things like that. So I pushed it away for so long. And when I started having, telepathic and psychic abilities, I didn't correlate it with spirituality. I mean, honestly, I thought I was kind of losing it, having spiritual psychosis, or, the first time I had a telepathic experience, I was in college, and I just pushed it away because I was like, this is so intense. This is crazy. Like, is this really happening? Like, I had zero guidance, right? It's not like you can go down to the corner market and get some advice when you're in the Bible Belt. But spirituality, I think really everything started just kind of came online, and it was like an unavoidable thing that was like, this is your path, this is your direction. I don't know if you want to call it a near-death experience, but my life force energy was very low. I can't talk too much about what happened because it's still in litigation right now, which is a whole nother video at some point. I will go into that. But basically, I was poisoned, and I thought I was dying. Taking out the trash, garbage truck. I don't know if you can hear that. And I was forced to lay down in bed and not do anything. I literally barely could get up to use the bathroom. And it was to the point where I was discussing with my partner, like, where are kids going to go? Who's going to help you? Because, like, we literally thought I was dying. And it was a very scary time. But during that time, it was like the divine just scooped me up and showed me the ropes, taught me everything. It was like, this is not the end. Like, took me into the womb of the universe and rebirthed me and gave me a new name. L'Oreal is not my birth given name. Told me about my abilities and guided me and showed me like this whole other reality that is existing simultaneously, but it's like the unseen world. It is the world that goes by faith. It is the world that goes by your third eye, not with your two human eyes. It is the world that is only felt and experienced on an internal level. It can be brought into this physical reality. And the two, I don't want to say they're interchangeable, they work together. It's just like, we breathe air. Breath is life. We can't see it, but we can feel it, and we know that it's there. So this led into several things. I started learning dowsing energy healing to clear my energy, to help me along my evolution. I also learned Reiki. And also along this topic with spirituality and religion, it wasn't until I was in the Reiki master class learning Holy Fire Reiki and Jesus, I like to call him Yeshua, because Jesus to me is like the religion version. It's like this program that doesn't even really exist. It's like this little piece of something and this label. But because of my like visceral reaction to the structured religion, I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. I had to really clear my energy of Jesus, of Yeshua, of even the word God. I was so against the structured thing that I didn't even like to say God, like creator of all that is, or a divine source, or what have you. I would say universe. I was a very removed from the language, and now I use them interchangeably because I've worked through the layers and the programming of those particular words. And again, it's like it can mean different things to different people. I think, Jesus, Yeshua, was just so misunderstood and so taken out of context a lot. And, because we weren't alive when he was alive, it's not like we can fact check things. So I was quite shocked when I was going through the Holy Fire Reiki. The Council of Light is heavily embedded in the master program. And, you're working with ascended masters. And some of them I would see, they would have form. Others were just like literally like pillars of light. And so, yeah, it took me a minute to really embrace the Council of Light, and the whole Jesus Yeshua thing. But I mean, he's like one of my guides now. So, it took me a while to get to that point. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people have questions on, of like, how do you know what you're channeling? Well, it takes practice. It takes a lot of discernment. It takes a lot of experiences. And when I say experiences, like, you go through spiritual experiences, you go through initiation, so to speak, you go through tests, you go through all these processes. And yes, anyone can learn basic Reiki and learn Reiki, but if you're wanting to, master that skill and use it to truly help people heal themselves, it's a journey. It's a process, and I don't think you're ever done, because you're still evolving. You're still, and I still am. I still have lessons, and you'll have breaks and where you do shadow work, and it's like you're literally emptying out your vessel of darkness to embody more light. And that's a healing journey. And then you use those experiences and that light to help others. And that's just kind of the synchronicity of how it works. Like, whenever I master a lesson, not just learn it or go through it, I mean, there's different phases, right? And it's like when you master it and then you use it to help someone else, it's almost like, it's just like, it's this completion. And it's so, I guess satisfying would be the right word. It's just so endearing. It's so like, this is why I do this. This is why I experience this, because I'm able to help someone else. And it doesn't feel like, it's all for nothing. It doesn't feel like, oh, I experienced these hardships and these things just for no reason, out of in vain. It's like you did it to be able to help others who are in the same situation. And so I had a really hard time even like calling myself a healer, because healers don't heal you. You don't just go to a healer and say, I need healing. I mean, some people may do that, but they help you heal yourself. You are at a point where you are ready to clear and complete that energy, that lesson, and move on. And yourself get rid of that darkness and ask for more light to come in, and more blessings and more of the good stuff. And so, yeah, this is kind of how I came to do what I do. And how do I know who I'm channeling? At first, I did not. It took a lot of questions. It took a lot of feeling into my own body, getting energy signatures, getting visuals, getting just learning all the things. Is kind of like learning how to walk, or I don't know. I just computer code. Like I don't know what computer code is, but you look at it from out here and it just looks like a bunch of bleh. But when you learn it, it's a process to learn. Once you learn it, you can apply it and not only correct errors, but make new, etc., etc. And that's kind of like what it is. And I only set the intention what is for the highest good. So part of the learning process is getting non-beneficial energies, and what are you going to do with it? How do you clear those? How do you clear your channel? They teach you. Your spirit guides, divine source of all that is, guides you through the whole thing. Yes, you go through a lot of not so great things, but then that's how you learn, right? So it's a lot of mistakes. It's a lot of trial and error. And I wouldn't flippantly just be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna, channel your dead relative for you if they weren't guiding me to do it. And that's why it's like, I'm always asking what is in the highest good. And sometimes that's not in the highest good for you at this point in time. So, yeah, sometimes it is doing, like right now I'm doing timeline work. It sounds so, but going through different versions of yourself, different timelines, and healing timelines, healing inner child healing, past versions of you, future versions of you, rewriting your story. Healing is like such a big, all-encompassing word, because it's not just like physical healing or emotional healing, because we are our mental, our emotional, our physical, our spiritual bodies, and our auras go even out further, and depending on who we are and what our makeup is, what we connect to, what our it's kind of like what our physical bodies need. Everyone's like dietary needs are different, right? Like some people can't eat meat and they're great being vegetarian or vegan, or some people can eat fish, some people are allergic to fish, some people it's like our makeups are all different, but it's all food, right? So everyone needs different food, nutrients, depending on how they were raised, depending on their makeup. And so no healings or no two things look the same. And so it really is such a broad thing to try and explain to someone because I've spoke to someone's higher self and their guides that are are completely non-human. And some are very, old souls. Some are all humans. Some are, and there's just such a vast range. So yeah, how do I know who I'm channeling? It took a lot of practice, and now I'm very confident. And I also go through a whole checklist of things to clear myself before I work with someone. There, I have a process to make sure I'm clear, to make sure this is just, me connecting to you. There's no interference. There's protection. There's nothing else that's being splashed in the mix. So, yeah, I what's the other thing I was going to hit on? I'm sorry. I'm like having a thing right now. You can, I don't want to say you can channel. A lot of times, there are ancestors, gods, goddesses, deities. Occasionally they show up. Sometimes they don't. I think some people get kind of bummed when they don't have like a huge, like if Buddha doesn't come and visit experience. But I think that happens when you're ready. Everything is divine timing. And us humans, we want, words and things to explain things. And sometimes there just isn't a human word yet for what we are describing. And I feel like that's changing, with science and technology that is advancing so fast. They're trying, it's funny that spirituality and science are explaining each other and merging and doing this thing, and they're coming up with new languages and words and terminology to describe what a lot of spiritual people are already been doing. So it's a very exciting time as far as humanity goes. And that's another thing, like perspective is everything. It's like what we think manifests, what we feel manifests, what we can look at the world today and say, oh my God, it's never been this bad. There's this, and this, that's so wrong. And you're right. But we can also look at it and say, wow, we have never been more evolved spiritually as a species. Our consciousness has been growing. Technology, everything's happening at this rapid pace. And we're actually evolving and growing and doing amazing. So, and you're right. So it's kind of like whatever we choose to look at and focus on, we now know with the experiment changes. So let that be a guide to guide you toward the positive. That's not to bypass or say that bad things don't happen, because they do. But as far as you in your reality, in your focus, put it towards the positive. Put it towards the light. Ask for the guidance. Meditate. Go inward. Experience your own being, your own higher self, your own spirit guides. And the more you can do that and connect in that way, it's almost like the light from within just gets brighter, and it's infectious. It spreads to everyone.